Is it sitting right? Okay, are we ready to go? And we're ready. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is what happens when you haven't been back in the studio doing your podcast for 30 days. Yes, 30 days has gone by because I was not here for the month of November. Can you believe it? But what's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday, December the 8th. It's your girl. It's Mortgage Money with Shirley time right now, guys. You are now tuned in to Mortgage Money with Shirley, and you are looking at episode 14. What now? So I'm coming to you all live and direct from these Morris Media Studios here in Los Angeles. You can find this podcast on my YouTube channel, Mortgage Money with Shirley. You can also see me live on Facebook. Okay, my Facebook personal and business page. My personal page, Shirley Nichols, and my business page, Clear Sky Mortgage and Realty. You can tune in both those pages and you'll see this podcast live, or you can catch the replay so that you can go ahead and tell everyone, share, and let them know about Mortgage Money with Shirley. Again, we are on episode 14. What now? And I thought this was a great topic to talk about for today, only because we are embarking upon the year 2022. And what are we doing? What are we doing? What now? What are we going to do differently? Or what are we going to do with our real estate portfolio, our mortgage money, our buying, our investing, our selling like we're on a boat, selling your house or buying a new property? What are we doing right now to get ready for 2022? The very first tip that I have for you all for what now, the very first tip what I would have for you is to check your credit. Check your credit reports, plural. Credit reports, plural. Because there are three major bureaus that we as lenders, we dig into. That is your Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Again, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And I know this might sound a little juvenile, a little elementary, but sometimes you got to bring it on back to the basics, right? So Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, check your bureaus. Well, Shirley, how do I check those bureaus? What I would encourage you to do is either you can go to Experian.com, TransUnion.com, Equifax.com. You can go those places, yes, or there are such websites as freecreditreport.com, mycreditkarma.com. Those are the secure websites that you can definitely go to look for your credit reports. Now, I know a lot of the time they do those trial periods. They're like 30 days or something like that. You do have to put in a debit card or credit card. You do have to put in your number, but after those 30 days, if you want to, you can cancel those free trials, okay? Now, people ask me, well, what about these free trials and should I pay more to get my credit score? My only thing about the credit score as an individual, it will always be different, okay? It'll be lower most of the time than what the actual lender receives. I get that question. I can't tell you. I've been in this mortgage business for over 28 years. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you how many times I get that question. Why, when I pulled my Credit Karma or my freecreditreport.com, my FICO score was a lot lower than a lot higher than what you got, Shirley. I got an 800, and then Shirley, you got a 700. Well, there's different formulas and calculations. Believe it or not, the FICO score, that FICO, FICO, Fair Isaac Credit something, I forgot what the O stands for, but that FICO score encompasses a bunch of stuff, right? And when the lender gets that, well, when we pull those scores, it is a computer generated score, yes. However, a lot of stuff goes into that formula, okay? Your demographics, job time, stability, address, there's a lot of stuff that encompasses that along with most importantly, your credit history, your credit depth, your credit utilization. All of those things make up these FICO scores. They really do. And if you really want to study the FICO score, well, I'm not the FICO score guru, but I would suggest that you take a class maybe, or even do some research online or something. But just know the main important ingredients of these FICO scores are the credit utilization, the credit depth. How long have you had credit? And more importantly, how are you paying it? Right? Are you paying everything on time within that 30-day time frame? Okay. So there's another formula. There's calculations, I should say, that go into what we as lenders pull. Okay. And like I said, the formula, I can't even begin to break it down for you. and you'll have to call me offline. But nonetheless, yes, as a lender, our FICO scores are going to be a lot different mainly than the ones as an individual that you pull. So going back to these trial periods of checking the credit and monitoring your credit, they'll, like I said, clients will ask, hey, should I pull my credit score? Should I pay for that FICO score with them? You can. Doesn't hurt, it's not going to hurt you to pull your credit report, right? It doesn't affect you not one way. As a lender, when I pull your credit scores, and it depends on how often you're applying, when's the last time you applied, it depends on a few things as to whether or not your score is going to actually drop when I pull it, right? If you have applied at the same type of lending, like if you're applying for a house loan, you're applying for something secure within that same 30-day time frame, chances are your score is not going to drop. If you go to Bank of America and apply for a mortgage loan and you've got a 740 over there, the next 15 days, if I pull it, chances are you're still going to have the 740. The credit scores don't normally drop that soon, that quickly, if you're applying for mortgage or secured credit loans during that time frame of a 30-day span. Okay, so don't worry too much, but you don't mistake this as run out there and apply for everyone. No, absolutely not. Do not apply everywhere. Okay, the less inquiries that you have, the less credit inquiries that you have on your credit report, the better. Okay, all I'm saying is some of my clients like to shop around. Don't know why, but a lot of my clients like to shop around. And the only reason why I say sometimes shopping is not always something that you have to do. Like I said, a lot of clients tend to want to do it, but it's not something that you have to do because most of the time, credit or mortgage lending, the interest rates are pretty much going to be about the same. Bank of America might offer 2.75. I might offer 2.73. It just depends. The interest rates are pretty much the same. It's the cost. And I've said this before on previous podcasts. It's the cost that really kind of makes the difference, if you will. It's the cost of this rate. Okay, it's the cost of this rate that really might make the difference on whose rate is better. And that's just all there is to it. And then, of course, you want to go with someone who's trusting, who can get the job done quickly and has very minimal conditions. Call your girl Shirley. Call your girl Mortgage Money with Shirley, and we'll talk more about it. But nonetheless, all I'm saying is when you're out there shopping for mortgage rates, be careful. You don't really need to apply 3 and 4 and 5 different places, okay? Because chances are, like I said, the rates are pretty much going to be comparable to one another, okay? But if you do, and then you're worried about, well, my credit score is going to go down. The credit score 9 times out of 10 probably won't go down within that 30-day time span if you're applying for the same type of lending. What you don't want to do is apply for a mortgage, a secured loan, and then go to Target, right? And go get a Target card. That's what causes the shifts in those credit inquiries to bring your score down, right? You're applying for a secured loan on December 1, and then December 3rd, you go to Target and apply for an unsecured loan. And now you've got a secured versus an unsecured. Chances are your credit score is going to drop. Now, here's another tidbit. It doesn't drop as much as you think. Oh my gosh, it's going to drop 20 points. No, not necessarily. Typically about 3 to 5 points, if even that much. Okay. So just be mindful. And again, I am by no stretch of the means a credit guru, credit credit expert or any of that stuff. It's just I've been in the business 28 plus years and I've kind of seen the patterns repeat themselves, history repeats themselves, experience, all those kinds of things. I'm pretty knowledgeable about telling you what I've seen and what I've experienced when it comes to credit, okay? But what now? Episode 14's topic. Look at your credit reports, plural, okay? Go ahead and pull all three of them. And if you want to pull your credit score, knock yourself out. It doesn't really, like I said, matter to the mortgage lender, okay? The automobile lender, for that fact as well, they do have a whole set of auto credit scores, okay? When you're, you might have heard this when you're out looking for a vehicle loan or you go to, I don't know, Range Rover, and they go, oh, let's see if Land Rover Financial will approve you. Land Rover Financial has their own automobile or vehicle scoring that they do as well. Okay, so just be mindful of the lenders that you're going to and, you know, who's pulling your scores and all that kind of good stuff. So for you, the individual, to pull your score, you can. Like I said, it doesn't hurt if you want to. But right now, what now? Check your credit reports. Going into 2022, know where you're at, okay? Know what the credit looks like. It's very important because, I mean, there's a lot of different things that are going on right now in the world outside of the pandemic. I mean, identity theft is up. Theft, period, is up. It's the holiday season. People are doing strange things. So again, now is a very good time. If you haven't thought about checking your credit, go ahead and check it and see where you're at. See if there's been any type of identity thefts going on. See if there's been any missed payments out there. Now is a good time to start checking those things, okay? I also had a client, well, I've had several questions about this as well. Credit freeze. Should I put my credit report on a freeze or a hold? Again, up to you. A lot of the times they'll ask you at the bureau, at Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, why do you want to put a freeze on your credit report? And all that a freeze does is it just keeps someone, if they're trying to dig into your credit report, from doing it. They can't pull your credit, right? So if you put a freeze or a hold on your account, on your credit report, then no one else can pull your credit report except for you. Right? So if that's something that you just, feel is safe or you want to do, I know a lot of clients in the past have put freezes on their account, but just know if you're in a position now where you want to buy a home or buy a car or buy whatever, and you go to the lender and say, hey, yeah, go ahead and see if you can get me pre-approved, Shirley, for this house. And I'm going to pull your credit, and the first thing that's going to happen is going to say Equifax has a freeze on this report, okay? And it's nothing that's going to be very, very painful to take off or anything like that. If you have a freeze on your report and you forget that you put the freeze on there, and I pull your Experian or Equifax or TransUnion report and I see the freeze, all I'm going to do is call you back, say, hey, Jane, Jack, John, Jill, I'm going to say, hey, remove the freeze. And that's just a phone call away. It's really just that simple. You can call all of the bureaus up. Hey, I have a freeze on my account because of identity theft or whatever. And then once you call them and say, hey, unplug that freeze or remove the freeze, they're going to say, do you want to remove it for temporary 30 days or something like that? Or do you want to remove it permanently? And whatever your choice is, like I said, it's a phone call away. Simple, easy. Okay. So credit is a whole dynamic and it's a whole nother topic for another session. So again, I just wanted to touch on the what now. What now? Now is a good time to check your credit. Okay, so that's that part. Let's talk about assets. Let's talk about assets. And we won't get too personal. We won't talk too much about it. But your assets. Now is a good time to start thinking, to start visualizing where you want to be in 2022, right? You want to buy a new house, or you want to start your real estate portfolio and start investing in houses. When you do an investment property, it's 25% down, okay? You want to buy a $100,000 house, you're going to need at least minimum $25,000 because as a lender, we're going to code that as a rental property or an investment property, right? And as an investment property, it's 25% down. Okay. And it could go upwards from that if you're buying multi-units or if your credit score is, a little less than. So again, if you're in that position to start setting yourself up for 2022 and to start buying properties, because I'll tell you guys, 2022 is going to be a milestone, another milestone. Why do we say that as a lender? Well, one, interest rates are already starting to tick back up, but the values of these properties are starting to stable out. Yeah. All through 2019, 2020, 2021, those properties were going up. Oh, they were rising. But word on the curb, word on the curb is that the property values are starting to stable out, right? And some of them are starting to stay on the market longer, right? When they're selling their house, they're starting to stay on the market a little longer. As a mortgage lender, what we see on our end are just the rates, right? We see that rates are going up. Now, I shouldn't say just the rates because I am a real estate broker and I did just list a great, fantastic condo in Canoga Park, listed it last Tuesday. And what? We got an offer. Yeah, we got an offer on Tuesday, yesterday. So this house, this condo, stayed on the market for barely a week. We're opening escrow today. We're opening escrow today. But what I'm saying is, yeah, that condo moved pretty quickly, but a lot of the times it's location, location, location. Canoga Park is a great area. And just so happened this couple was looking for a condominium. So again, on the lending side of it, what we see coming into 2022 are rates starting to tick back up. Now, when we say tick back up, I mean, you have to be mindful. Rates have been so low. What'd you say, Shirley? So low for so long. It's cyclical, right? It's cyclical. It turns on a cycle. It keeps rotating. It keeps going around and around. And eventually, with rates being that low, something has to give, something has to change. And so what we see on the lending side is that rates start to tick back up, right? Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to go, oh my gosh, through the roof. No, it's just that where we reveled, just basked into those, the whole time these last couple of years when rates were under 3%, you may start seeing rates hitting right at 3%. And not may, I've already seen some rates 3.25%, 3.125%, 3.125, some of those rates right in the early parts of the threes. And that's still not bad. Not bad at all. What was bad was when I started years ago, 28 years ago, is when I started, I was selling mortgage money and the double digits. People were buying houses left and right, refinancing left and right at 10, 11, 12%. Didn't matter. They would do it. So again, this whole part of what now, we're talking about your assets. Get them in order. Start figuring out what you want to do because into 2022, it's going to be a great time to buy even more property, right? And yeah, refinance if you need to. Refinance. I'm the refinance queen. I love refinancing homes for clients because it does so much, right? Oh, I need to pull out a few extra dollars, Shirley, to fund my son's college tuition. Speaking of my son, little Ryder Win, y'all say shout out to Ryder for his birthday tomorrow. He's going to be 7. Okay, but no, seriously, people need to refinance for a whole gamut of reasons, and that's totally fine. Just call your girl Mortgage Money with Shirley because I will definitely help you with the refinancing part of it. But again, 2022, if you thought 2019, 2020, 2021 was phenomenal, stick around for 2022 and get your assets in order now. That means start looking at the 401ks, 403bs, 457s. Start looking at these fours and get your money invested into, if your company, allows you to increase your investment for your 401k, 403b, 457, whatever it is, if they let you increase your contribution, I would say increase that percentage. And especially if they're matching you. Back when I was working at Wells Fargo and Citibank, they matched us up to 6%. And it was fantastic, right? So get your contribution percentage up if you can, if you're still with corporate America and you're investing. If you're self-employed, Every time that you do something that's paying you some kind of proceeds or monies, then perhaps start looking at, if I opened up a separate account, and I always kind of encourage people, it's something about opening a separate account away from the checking that you have that pays out the reoccurring bills, away from the savings account that you call it's emergency money. But we all know there's a handbag over there that I gotta dip in that savings to go get that handbag. It's not emergency money. I just want the handbag. But open up a separate account aside from the checking and aside from the savings that you already have. Open up this other account and call it future. Call it investment. Call it whatever you want. You can go right over to B of A, Wells Fargo, Chase, whomever, and you can sit down with them and open up a whole nother savings account. And they're going to say, well, what would you like to name this savings account? Name it future, investment, money, whatever you want to name it, business, profit, proceeds, whatever positive name that you want to put on that next account. Go open it now, right? Get yourself geared up for 2022, but go open that account now is my suggestion, and start every time you employers, every time you're self-employed, pinch a little something off and have it direct deposit to this other account that you vow you won't touch. You won't touch it because you've got that emergency savings account over here that you're already dipping in, right? Hey, listen, no judgment. I dip in mine. So, hey, no judgment. But get something aside from that standard checking and emergency savings account. Get a whole nother account, right? And I talk very briefly and mainly with my nieces who are, in their late 20s and early 30s. I talk to them about a whole nother investment that is online, easy breezy, and that you forget that you're even having monies allocated to this online account that I have. And I told them about it. It has amassed a lot over the years. It really has, because you kind of forget that it's even there. Yeah. But, it comes right out of the checking and it goes right into this online account. Beautiful. Don't even have to touch it. Don't have to do anything. It's just boop and done. So again, start thinking about matriculating and getting more assets by just, sprinkling money here and here. Every now and again, I'll tell this story about Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. But I used to work at Wells Fargo, and Kobe Bryant had several accounts at Wells Fargo. And I always said, why does this man have all this money? And I don't know how many accounts it was. Let's just call it 10, and this was years ago. But let's just call it 10 accounts that he had. And I mean, he had something foundation, something foundation. The nickname for him was like Bean or whatever. He had a Bean Foundation and something. I don't want to tell too much about this man's business, but rest in peace. And hearts and souls and spirits go out to Vanessa and their children. But he had a diversified portfolio where there was several different accounts in Wells Fargo. Now, this was just Wells Fargo. That's the only bank that I worked at that I saw. He probably banked at some whole other institution as well. But at Wells Fargo, he may have had 10 accounts. And it's money here, money here, money here. Because again, what I find with doing that, at least that if I have 10 accounts, one of them I'm not going to touch, right? It's just going to keep building and building and building. I'm not going to touch it, right? So what I'm saying is diversify for sure and get a multitude of accounts if you can, right? And I know a lot of you are thinking, but my money is not that vast as Kobe Bryant, neither is mine. But what I'm saying is every little bit counts, especially if it's accruing and amassing and just getting higher and higher without you even realizing it. And before you know it, by the end of 2022, you may have a few thousand in there. Who knows? But that's a few more thousand than what you had at the beginning of 2022. Right? Does that make sense? So again, start thinking about getting your assets in gear for 2022, because you never know when that housing opportunity may present itself. And you're thinking, if I just had, and then start thinking about partners, right? Business partners that you might want to go into. There's a lot of investment clubs out there, a lot of women who get together and pool their money together to do an investment. Start your own investment group, right? Start your own investment group. Find some like-minded women or men or whomever, right? Find some like-minded people and maybe start your own investment group and get ready to get into 2022. What now? Episode 14. What now? Get into 2022 now. Okay. So we talked about your credit. We talked about your assets. Let's just talk about some mortgage transactions that I've seen over this year, 2021. Mortgage transactions. And one thing that comes to mind, and I know we're getting short on the time, but I just love talking to you all. And like I said, I missed a whole 30 days. So I'm trying to bring it all in now at one time in one episode in my 30-minute time frame. And y'all know I can talk and talk and talk and talk about these mortgages. But I just want to spotlight a couple of the mortgage transactions that we've encountered over 2021. And one of them that comes to mind that is the pesky refinance when someone has what's called a HERO or a PACE home improvement loan on their title. Yeah. So let's spotlight this for a few minutes here. Refinancing in 2021 was bananas. Everyone wanted to refinance and we were just doing loans. You get a loan, you get a loan, you get a loan. I mean, it was all over the map. And throw in there the purchase loans as well. But the refinance, I want to talk about that, like I said, because I'm the refinance queen. I'll talk about that just for a second and spotlight these features. One, like I said, there's a thing called a HERO or a PACE loan. And some of you out there may be thinking, what is a HERO or a PACE loan? Does it really save me? It's a HERO. And then some of you are thinking, darn it, why did I ever get involved with that HERO or PACE loan? Well, I'll tell you, that's my reaction whenever I see the HERO or PACE loan on someone's title. The first thing I always say is, why they get involved in that? Why they get involved in that? So let me just explain to you real quick what it is. A HERO or a PACE loan is a home improvement loan of some sort. Typically, it's because someone wants a brand new air conditioning unit, someone wants to do roofing, or someone wants to put in a water system or landscaping, something like that. It's not necessarily for, oh, I want to build a room addition or I want to change my flooring. It's nothing like that. It's typically for roofing, air conditioning, or landscaping of some bit. And with a water system or something along those lines. But basically what it is, outside of that, is you have a salesperson that'll either call you or come knock on your door in the heat of the summer, in the height of the summer when the sun is beaming down at 12 noon and you're hot and you're bothered. And here in LA, not everyone's house has an air conditioner. So they come, hey, I just talked to your neighbor. Right? And she wants to get this new air conditioning unit. And I talked about all this fabulous stuff that we're going to do for her. And she wants to go forth with it. So I can do the same for you in your house. And you don't have to pay not one dime. Right? That's the spiel that those salespeople put on you. You don't have to pay not one dime today. And it just goes downhill from there. And I don't want to say it goes downhill, but it kind of does. What these people do with the HERO and the PACE program, and this is just my interpretation and experience, I have yet to see any HERO or PACE loan that has gone so wonderful that the clients loved it and didn't want to pay it off. Because here's the uptick to all of this. The HERO or the PACE loan, you pay nothing today. It's when your property taxes come out, when everything starts hitting you in the face. So with the HERO or the PACE loan, you've got a couple of payment options because it's not for free. So what will happen is the salesperson will come over and they'll talk to you about installing this great, beautiful air conditioning unit. And we're going to do a dual unit. So you'll have one in the front and you'll have one in the back. And it's going to be $25,000. For an air conditioning unit. Yeah. My last client that we refinanced and paid it off. Yeah. A whole $24,000 air conditioning system unit was installed in his house. And they typically target elderly people, the seniors. They do. Because one, they know they're on a fixed income. Two, they know they don't want to pay for anything up front. And three, they're just who they target. It is quite and most unfortunate, but you see this time and time again that they're overinflated, crazy prices on something that you know shouldn't be that much. What do you live in? A mausoleum or something? Why are you getting this $24,000, $25,000 air conditioning system? Why? I don't know. But that's what they talk to these elderly and senior people about. And they reel them in, slam them in every time. And so my job as a lender, when I talk to these clients after the fact, because they didn't know, I didn't know, Miss Shirley, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to take this free air conditioning, because then the following year, my mortgage bill is through the roof because it hits on the property taxes. Your property taxes increase every single year that you do not pay off that HERO or that PACE home improvement loan. Every year they will go up. And I'm not talking $10 or $20, hundreds. Hundreds of dollars, depending on the price of that loan, that HERO loan that saved you from being so hot in the summertime. That HERO or that PACE loan, that loan has cost you hundreds monthly on your mortgage payment, unless you pay it off. And that's where I come in, and we'll refinance, no problem. We'll refinance that loan for you, pay it off, and you'll be back to where you were, sort of, kind of. But remember, you just paid $24,000 for an air conditioning unit, so your mortgage payment is going to go up, maybe, and not always the case, right? Because if your interest rate drops, okay, if you refinance and your interest rate drops as it should, then your payment probably will go down or maybe stay the same and not really go up. And certainly not as much as it would if you don't pay them off and you kept having that increase on your property taxes year after year after year, and that mortgage payment is going up, because the mortgage payment goes up if you have an impound account. If you have an impound account where you have your property taxes and your home insurance included in your mortgage payment, well, if that HERO loan is attacking that property tax that's included in your mortgage payment goes up and up and up and up and up. And the real tragedy behind all of this is that senior or that elder person that doesn't know that their mortgage payment has gone up, and they, forgot to pay that higher payment in the month of December. And so now they've got a 30-day late on their credit report, and now your FICO score goes down, right? So again, as a lender, I just haven't seen anything real positive out of these HERO or these PACE loans. And like I said, there's tons of clients out there who have done them in the past, and there'll be tons more in the future. There really would be. The only thing that I would advise and encourage you to do is when you see or think that you want to get this HERO or this PACE loan, and there's not a lender in town that you can call to refinance your property first and take out the cash to pay this home improvement loan up front and outright. If you cannot find a lender to do that, the only thing I would advise and encourage, if you must go through with this HERO loan, is make sure you read everything. What'd you say, Shirley? Read everything. Because the salesperson is not going to tell you they're there to make a sale. And their whole mindset is to tell you it's free because you don't have to pay anything today. But they forget to tell you what happens in the future. They forget. So again, if you find yourself in that position that you have to do this, and there's no way out because you can't get a hold of your trustworthy lender or the lender that you've been using, and you don't call Shirley, Mortgage Money with Shirley, and you don't call me, and you go forth, just make sure you're reading and you're understanding. Because most air conditioning units, unless you're living in some kind of fortress, shouldn't be $24,000. No, okay? So again, keep in mind what you're really getting into with those HERO and those PACE loans, okay? So again, I wanted to spotlight some of the refinance things that were going on in 2021. And of course, we've run into other title issues as well. Okay, title issues, and that's just outside of the HERO and the PACE. Like I said, the HERO and the PACE loans are liens on the property. Okay, ran into those solar systems, solar panels. So now Tesla is into solar panels. I mean, what isn't Elon Musk into, right? But solar panels. Be mindful and be careful. You can either lease the solar panels for the life of the duration you're in this home, or you can buy them outright, or you can do an installment plan, right, for these solar panels. But again, it's still monies that you will put on top of your actual mortgage payment. Solar panels doesn't work like the Hero or the Pace because they tell you up front, hey, this solar panel situation is going to be $30,000. Now we're going to bill you every month, or you can lease it from us. You know, they tell you that upright. But as a refinance queen in this business, when it's time to refinance, guess what? Guess what we have to do? Pay it off or subordinate. Right? Because you're leasing these panels that you're not going to take from this house to the next house. So you're just going to lease it, right? You're going to rent out some solar panels. And if you do that, totally fine, your choice, your prerogative. But as a refinance lender, when it's time to refinance, we're going to say, okay, we have to call Tesla and we have to ask them to subordinate or terminate this lease for just the duration of us to do this refinance. Or if you're buying them, making installment plans, we can pay it off for you through the refinance, which is probably a little cheaper rate. Yeah. I can't remember what the solar panel interest rate is going for right now. I think it's 18-20%, but whatever it is, it's in addition to, on top of your regular basic mortgage. So just again, be mindful of these things going into 2022, right? There's a whole bunch of more stuff I'd like to talk to you about 2021 and some of the features and highlights of refinancing and purchases. We didn't even get a chance to touch on that. But I hope you all got something from today's episode 14. What now? Going into the 2022 year and what you should be focusing in on, your credit, your assets, and some of these things that are going on with refinancing and the housing market. I hope you were enlightened a little. Again, I'm your girl, Mortgage Money with Shirley, live and direct here in the Morris Media Studios in Los Angeles. You can find this episode as a replay on Facebook, my personal page, Shirley Nichols, or on my business page, Clear Sky Mortgage and Realty, or my YouTube channel, Mortgage Money with Shirley, and this is episode 14. I'm sorry I didn't take any call-ins today, but if you need to call me direct, you can. My cell phone is area code 818-720-7575, 818-720-7575, or you can inbox me in my DMs, whatever you guys want to do, but I'll promise to answer your questions, okay? So again, thank you so much for being on board with us today with Mortgage Money with Shirley, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully by the end of this month, okay? I don't want to stay 30 days gone again. I missed y'all. Have a great Wednesday. God bless.